Hello there. Today I would like to do a review of the Pelikan M205 DUO, which is a Pelikan fountain pen. The Anglo-Saxon world always seems to pronounce it as Pelikan, but it's a German brand. It's spelled with a K, right? So it's Pelikan. Now, just because I'm going to speak English in this review, I will pronounce it as Pelikan because it's just simpler, right? The box is, this looks fairly plain, but it's actually pretty cool. Once you open it, there is this thing in there. I'm sorry about the light, but my webcam seems to need it. What you can maybe see is that there is some text going on there with highlighting on it. That's on the box, which looks kind of cool, and you may wonder why that is. Well, if you open the box, you will see two things. You will see a bottle of ink and a pen. Now, the ink is very peculiar. This is like it looks a bit like fluorescent lighting or something, like neon, and that's because it's highlighter ink. So this pen is designed to be used with this specific highlighter ink. You can buy this ink separately, but just to be sure, I just want to make sure everyone understands. Pelikan, I'm saying it half German, Pelikan says that this ink should only be used in the M205. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't really care. I just want to make sure you understand that this is a bit of a warning. You can apparently not put this in any fountain pen. Because this is a pen for highlighting or marking, or whatever you like to call it, it has a very broad nib. In fact, it's a double broad nib. So later on in the video, I'm going to show you how the pen writes and the width of the lines and all that kind of stuff. But for now, just take it from me, the double broad nib is fairly broad. Let's take a look at the pen. So it is a clear. It's a demonstrator, it's clear, plastic, clear yellow, which I like. That was actually my main reason to get it, not so much the highlighting aspect, but I like the design of the pen a lot. I thought it looked a bit classic with the yellow color. So we've got the clip. The clip I like. It's not too tight, but it's tight enough to stay put in a shirt pocket. What I also like is that at the top of the cap, there is a logo, which I don't think you can see this very well, not in these lighting conditions, but there's a pelican on there, floating in water and sort of looking at a baby pelican. Aww, yeah, it's very cute. That's the pelican logo. There you go. That's better. So that's kind of cool. Nice eye for detail. I like that. It's on the little ring here. It says Germany, and again Pelikan. So, to the mechanics of the pen, this is a piston filler. So, for those of you not familiar with that, you unscrew the cap, you put this in a bottle of paint. Let's use ink. You put it in a bottle of ink, and then you twist this thing, and then a plunger inside, which you can see here, will move down and then up again, and that will suck up ink. Currently, this has Gerber Perle Noire in it, so that's a pretty black ink, which is kind of cool. Let me say straight away, I have not put this ink in there. As I said, I didn't buy it for the highlighting, I just bought it as a nice fountain pen. I don't have any broad nib, so I thought it would be cool to have a double broad nib. That would just be fun to experiment with. It is not exactly... let's put it this way, it consumes ink like a madman, and of course it has a double broad nib, so that's kind of what you would expect. I got it Tuesday, I think, and then I filled it up, and at the end of the week, it is now Saturday, this part of the ink is gone. So it's really a very wet pen. So if you like wet pens, seriously consider getting this. The cap is screw-on, which I always like. You can't accidentally pull it off when you pull it out of your shirt pocket or pen pouch or whatever. So, I like it. As I said, I'm going to show you how to write with it a bit later on, but for now I like writing with it. What's more to say about this? It's very easy to switch the nibs. I actually ordered a medium nib to go along with it. I haven't tested that one yet, but I think that performs just as well as the broad nib. It's really easy. There's just a screw-on mechanism, so you can just screw out the entire feed and nib section, which is really nice if you want to replace nibs. In fact, I like the double broad quite a bit, so I think I'll just keep that one in there, and then I've got the medium nib as a spare or whatever. When I hold it, I have one small issue. The grip section, as you may be able to see, is slightly tapered, which I always kind of like. It is smooth. There is no... I just grabbed the nib, but I don't have ink on my fingers. Oh, miracles. It's smooth, so there is no real texture. A bit of an issue I have is that the threads of that hold the cap in place are a bit sharp. So if I hold it like this, then this part of my middle finger really does feel the threads. And especially, that's not a problem if you hold the pen really low, as it's supposed to be held, but I always hold my pen a little higher, or even this, like this. Then it's not a problem, but if I hold it a bit high, like this, then I really do feel the threads. Just a minor detail. I mean, it doesn't make my hands bleed or anything. Pen can be posted. It's a good, nice size. I think this is not a particularly large pen, but it's not particularly small either. It's pretty standard size, I think. So, smooth writer, smooth nib. The nib is, if I understand correctly, stainless steel. This is no gold plating, no high-end metals. It's just stainless steel, but it's smooth. For a steel nib, it writes smoothly. So I can recommend that. Good flow, excellent flow. In fact, it's very wet, which is something I like, but you may not. I like the design. I have not yet tested whether you can fully disassemble it. It would be great if you could sort of unscrew this part and then take out the plunger, or the piston, whatever you like to call it, for cleaning purposes. Otherwise, it's just a matter of, sucking up water, blowing it out again, sucking it through, flushing it out. On the other hand, as I said, you can just screw off the nib and the feed section, so that should really facilitate cleaning. So I like it a lot. What I'd like to do next is I will show you how it writes. That's the first time I've done so. My camera setup may not yet be ideal for that, so bear with me. Also, as I said, the highlighter ink is really cool, but I haven't used it in this pen. One of my issues is that double broad is not broad enough to highlight stuff. And you can actually see that on the box if the light actually permits it, which it doesn't. Yes, bright sun, it's very hot out here. No, unfortunately you can't see it. Well, the point is that, you can see something. Yes. I'll hold my hand up a bit, that should shade it a little. As you can see here, the title, the M205 DUO, that's what happens. You tend to just, if you have a text, you tend to just scratch it, and mark it in such a way. It would be better, at least I prefer marking text in such a way that you can still, read the words. You don't. This pen, let me put it this way. If you mark text with this pen, you appear to cross it out, and the ink that comes with it is really nice, really bright, great for highlighting, but not in this pen. So what I did is I took a Platinum Preppy fountain pen. I took out the nib, for those of you familiar with the pen, that's really easy, and I put in a highlighter tip, and that's what I use, and then it's perfect. It's a brilliant, really, really bright yellow. So I'll demonstrate that too. I'll demonstrate the ink, but not in this pen, but in the Platinum Preppy. So, let's switch to the writing part. Okay, let's do some writing with the Pelikan M205 DUO. I'm not absolutely sure about that. The Pelikan, in other words. Nice pen. let's have a look at how it writes. To give you an idea, one of these squares is 0.5 millimeter, so that should give you an idea of how broad a nib this double B nib is. Let's do some writing. You probably hear a scratching noise, but that is actually just the microphone of the camera being a little overzealous. It is not a scratchy pen or a scratchy nib at all. What you probably will see is the wide lines. This is quite some pressure. This is no pressure. That's pretty wide. Of course, it is a double broad nib, so that's just what you would expect, but this is not for those who really prefer very fine nibs. Because it's double broad, it's possible to lay down an awful lot, how do you put that, an awesome amount of ink in just a few seconds. And as you can see in the light, it is really wet, a wet writer. Now just to give you a comparison, so this is some thin lines and some high pressure lines. This was a little side effect of the feed scraping over the paper. Here's a nudeless flex, no pressure, extreme pressure, and you see there's not that big of a difference. Sure, there is a difference, but so I think with medium pressure on the nudeless, you'll get about the same as you'll get with this Pelikan with almost no pressure. So that's what it does. Now, that's my biggest gripe with this, because if you have a standard text, I don't have any printed text lying around here, I'm afraid, but that's fine. This may be a little bit larger than a 12-point font, but if you're going to use this for highlighting, then you would get that, and not much more. Which is not to say that this highlighting ink is not good or anything. In fact, I like it a lot. This is the ink in a platinum preppy highlighter, and as you can see, it is an extremely bright ink that actually fluoresces a little bit. I like it a lot. It'll pick up some black ink if I do this, but you can see that this is a much broader nib than the one supplied with the pen, so that really makes a difference. And this is great for highlighting, and I think this is very nice for writing, but I'm not sure about using this as a highlighter, as I explained earlier. I really think that's not so good an idea, whereas this is just absolutely fine. It works great. You get a really, really, really bright yellow ink, which looks really cool, and it works just fine. So if you get one of these, you may consider purchasing a standard platinum preppy highlighter. I think I didn't get this one. These are just a couple of dollars, so it's very cheap to buy one of these. So that's how it's right.